and welcome to this edition of AWTC Presents Her Story, a series where we profile our AWTC members. I'm your host, Cecilia Sepp. I am an AWTC member, and I'm currently volunteering with our marketing committee. Thanks for joining us for this episode, where we are featuring AWTC member Wendy Sahli. Wendy, welcome to Her Story. Would you like to tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Cecilia. Yes, thank you. I am Wendy Sahli. I am the Director of Technology for the Regulatory Affairs Professional Society. I have been working in the technology field for almost 30 years, a little over 30 years, and in nonprofit for just as long. So I've definitely enjoyed my career in the nonprofit arena.
Well, and can you share with us, how did you get started working with nonprofit organizations?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of a funny story. I was a web developer for a .com, and through that 90s era, through the .com, my company folded. And so I was just kind of finding my path, trying to figure out where I would land. And a colleague of mine had a job opening at a nonprofit for plant biology, American Society of Plant Biology, for a web administrator. So I started with that and then just never looked back. Stayed in nonprofit since then. Loved it, loved the work-life balance, loved the people and the working for a mission. Just made the biggest difference in my lifetime.
Oh, that's wonderful. And again, I think that's very similar to most of us. We don't think of it as a career choice, and we find out about them along the way, and then we all fall in love with it.
Right, for sure.
So, excuse me, can you tell us about a time that you felt really good about your work? You mentioned you love working with nonprofits and being mission driven. So, when is the time you really felt really good about that?
Yeah, I think there's just so many. So I was trying to pick one that would be a really good story. And one of them is probably more recently, where I was able to bring another person into the technology arena. She was in the education meetings arena and just had this flair for technology, but also an interest and just was constantly talking with us, asking us questions about how we do what we do, always wanting to see how we do things. And then an opportunity arose that she was looking for another position, and I happened to have an open position as an event specialist. So I brought her into the fold, and in 1 year, she is now just a rock star of a technologist. And she was so excited to call herself a tech and just kind of walked around going, well, I'm on the tech team now. I'm doing tech work. Um, but she really can do it. She is that talented. So that's probably the more recent times when I felt like I've made an impact, not just for my association and my department, but in her life, in introducing her to technology.
No, that's a wonderful example. Thank you for sharing that. So, you are a self-described techie, as you and I have spoken several times, and you say, "Hey, I'm a techie." So, what advice helped you as a woman in tech as you were moving through your career?
Yeah, I think the biggest advice that I received, not necessarily just as a woman, but I had a great mentor when I was in doing web development. He really allowed me to explore my capabilities as a programmer and opened the door and said, you know, if you don't like something, learn how to fix it, learn how to do it. But his motto to me was always, don't come to me with a problem, come to me with a solution. And to this day, I use that when I'm talking to my supervisors or even my peers. Instead of coming to them and saying, hey, I just have this problem, I'm coming to them actually thinking through a solution, which is much more effective in helping the situation than just coming and complaining with the problem.
That is excellent advice, and I wish more people would follow it. So everyone listen to Wendy. That's a good way to approach things. So from your perspective as a techie, and you have a long career now working with a lot of different nonprofits and learning about them, where do you see technology leading associations in the future?
Right. I think two things on that. Technology is going to not just become a tool. I think technology is the engine for everything that we do. Every single day of every single person that works in an office building or even not in an office building for a nonprofit utilizes a technical tool or a technical solution or uh, some type of technical process. So I think of it more as that ingrained engine. And I think that is just going to become, the norm every day. In addition to AI, of course, AI is the big movement right now. But there's so much opportunity to utilize AI and develop capabilities and develop additional process improvements utilizing AI. So I think that there's an endless limit to where that's going to go. And I think nonprofits, although we slow roll everything because we're a little bit more cautious, which is good. But I do think it's going to give us some leg ups when it comes to doing more with less.
Hmm, that's a good insight, especially doing more with less, because I think a lot of nonprofits are in that situation.
Yes.
An interesting observation. Well, I'd like to segue to talking a little bit about AWTC now. And what do you like best about AWTC?
Yes, having volunteered now for AWTC as well as being a member of it for a couple of years now, I love that it's welcoming. In as a woman in technology, there's many times when I've walked into a very unwelcome environment, being the only female in the room. So I feel like it's a very welcoming environment. People are always reaching out to you, always coming out to say hello. If you're coming into the room and you spot another AWTC member, you're automatically drawn to that person and you start up a conversation. But also the networking and just the ability to go on and ask questions. The Slack channel is just such a critical part of my day. I can watch things that are posted there, news, or I can ask a question of my own, something I need, a resource I need, or even just say, how'd you guys do this? How did you handle that? And reaching out to that great group of knowledge that already exists. Yeah, just a welcome spirit to the whole organization that I love the most.
Yes. Yes, it is. I agree. It's a very welcoming community, and that's not always a commonality across other kind of groups. I'm with you on that. So you are obviously a fan, as am I, of AWTC, but why should someone who is not currently involved join AWTC and then get involved in what we do?
Yes, I think just giving it a shot, just coming in, joining the Slack channel, keeping an eye on the events that we have going on, maybe attending an event or two, just to kind of get a feel for what AWTC is all about, they're going to be hooked, which I was as well. I happened to be introduced to AWTC at an ASAE meeting, and they had a happy hour, and I got invited by a fellow member. And I thought, I don't really know what this is all about. But after that, I was hooked. So I think it's just a matter of joining because it's going to be something that you're going to love working with and doing. And you're going to love the people. You're going to get so much out of it, of the events, not just about your career or your job, but your personal self as well. I think as women, we have to practice some self-care and some support of each other. And that's what this group does. It helps you do that as well.
Well said. I agree. Wendy, thank you so much for joining me for Her Story.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
If you'd like to learn more about AWTC and find out what Wendy's talking about when she mentions how welcoming it is and how many opportunities there are, check out our website, awtc.tech. You can learn all about AWTC and see our many events, both virtual and in person. And our in-person events are growing every month. So keep an eye on that. You can sign up for our mailing list to get email updates. You can also sign up for the Champion newsletter to find out what is going on at AWTC and what other people are doing. You can also learn about our annual conference, AWTC Advance, which is my favorite conference now. And if you would like to join our member community, you can fill out our member form. There's no fee to join, and it's the most valuable no-fee membership on the planet. So please check it out. Again, our website is awtc.tech. You can see Wendy's story and see our other Her Story episodes also by visiting the website. Thank you for joining us for this episode, and we'll see you next time.